Last year in December, I went to Copenhagen alone, right at the Christmas time, and I had plenty of time to reflect on how the past year went and how I wanted the next one to look. It was a very calming 4 days in quiet Scandinavian city, so I decided to try and make it a yearly tradition, going somewhere alone right before the new year. After thinking about where in the world I still hadn't been, my choice landed on Belgium and Luxembourg. My initial plan was to go to Bruges, but the bus was delayed and I had very little time left to explore it. So I decided to get off earlier and explore Brussels instead. That's how I arrived in Brussels at 9 in the morning on Friday, December 12th. So I just came to Brussels and I have a whole day here. Let's see how it will go. I chose a coffee shop right at the edge of the city center to get the sense of direction and decide where to start exploring Brussels. My method of choosing a destination works every time, and I ended up walking through some of the most beautiful areas. To be honest, I was a bit biased about Brussels, but after spending a day there, I decided that it's quite overhated. My impression is that it's a mix of Paris and Amsterdam, but for me, both of them sometimes feels too fairy tale-like, especially Amsterdam with its perfect dollhouse-looking buildings. Brussels felt like a nice balance between mesmerizing architecture and a real life. And like a real tourist, I ordered an overpriced waffle right in the city center because apparently I don't know how to count my money when I'm traveling. But was it good? Yes. Was it worth the price? Probably not. The city was also filled with Christmas spirit, decorations everywhere, and the Christmas market I stumbled upon unintentionally. It felt nice in the moment, but Antwerp and Luxembourg raised my standards in the following days. What I liked the most though was the overall style that shapes the city culture. Its cafes, restaurants, shops, offices, whether agencies or different bureaus. The city, and I guess the country in general, has an amazing sense of taste in everything they do. And the number of places I wanted to step into while I was wandering around was huge. At first I thought it was because of special taxes maybe, or benefits for small and medium enterprises in Belgium, but then after discussion with ChatGPT, I came to the conclusion that we should thank the famous design school of Antwerp for their overall taste in Belgium. I visited about 5 or 6 bookshops and finally found one with a really good selection of books in English. After about 30 minutes, I chose a book by Deborah Levy. She had been on my wish list for ages, although I didn't really know where to start. I picked August Blue, which as it turns out isn't her best work, but spoiler, I still really enjoyed it. The lady at the cash register suggested wrapping the book. I thought she meant a simple paperback, so I said yes. She ended up wrapping a whole Christmas present for me, which I found incredibly cute. After wandering around the center, I went to explore a different district, Marol. I remember discussing with a friend that every city has its own Kreuzberg, the artsy district of Berlin. Now it has become a usual thing for me. First visit the historical center of a new city and then find its local Kreuzberg. Marol was indeed artsy, filled with showrooms, galleries and vintage shops. I slowly started looking for a place where I could sit, read and charge my phone, maybe sip something, and surprisingly I passed by many cute places, but I didn't feel tired enough to stop walking, so I just passed by. But less than 10 minutes later I stopped at the restaurant, so I decided to stay there. I sat there reading for about 2 hours. After that, it was time to go to Antwerp because that's where I was spending the nights in Belgium. The next day started at 9 a.m. on Saturday, December 13. I left the hostel, walking through the empty square where the Christmas market takes place every evening. And like a real hipster, I found the most hyped bakery in town and headed there. I read while waiting for my bun and cappuccino. Both were really good, although I had a strong sugar rush for the next 2 hours. My heartbeat raced and I felt like I was about to faint. After I ate some proper food, it took me about an hour to start feeling good again, and then I really began to explore the city. Antwerp felt like a little sister of Amsterdam, but without the excessive smell of weed and the overwhelming number of tourists. And of course, everything was aesthetically perfect. I couldn't take my eyes off of all the small shops, cafes and restaurants. Wow, it's very good. Yes, I spent only one day in each city, and the trip didn't feel as romantic compared to my quiet and slow trip to Copenhagen. And I didn't really want to leave Antwerp. The weather and the crisp morning air were so perfect that I fell in love with the city. Still, I arrived at the station and took a train to Brussels North, and from there another train to Luxembourg. The closer I got to Luxembourg, the more the perfect morning weather faded and fog started to appear. And yet, I didn't mind because I had already been lucky with the weather in both Brussels and Antwerp. I didn't expect much from the city and from this country, and I was pleasantly surprised by the sense of novelty. All the palaces, viaducts, and hills made the city feel truly new, whereas in Belgium, I felt a sense of familiarity. The fog added even more charm. It genuinely felt like I was in a movie. I decided to walk to my hostel, even though I was already tired of constantly going up and down the hills. The location of the hostel felt magical as well, right at the bottom of the viaduct. Slowly, I began exploring the center of Luxembourg and I stumbled upon Christmas markets one after another. I liked the first one, but I'm glad I didn't stop to drink blue wine there because the biggest markets were on my way. After I reached the second one, I explored all the little shops and saw what kind of food and drinks they were offering. I was down for something sweet, but there were too many people in line, so I headed further. To my surprise, there was the third Christmas market with much less people, and I enjoyed my sausage and hot chocolate in peace. And after walking further, I noticed the Ferris wheel and went to my last, but the biggest, prettiest, and the most interesting Christmas market in my life. There, I had a strawberry covered in chocolate and an original Luxembourg blue wine. I didn't think it would be possible to truly enjoy Christmas markets in solitude, but there I changed my mind. When I started to feel overwhelmed, I went to a restaurant or bar to read and journal, but after walking through the empty streets, I decided to spend the rest of the evening in bed and call it the end of my solo weekend trip.